Hey guys, this is Saran Hai from AllAboutTechnologies, and in this video let's do a battery drain test between the Redmi Note 7, Realme 3, Samsung Galaxy M20 and Asus Zenfone Max Pro M2. Redmi Note 7 comes with 4000 mAh battery, Realme 3 comes with 4230 mAh battery, Samsung Galaxy M20 and Asus Zenfone Max Pro M2 both have 5000 mAh battery. Other specs can be seen on the screen. Now looking at the specs, you might think that Samsung and Asus will win, but trust me, you will be surprised at the end, as having bigger battery capacity is not enough. So watch it till the end and please like this video, as it takes 8 to 9 hours to just shoot, so please give it a like if you appreciate my efforts. Also do note that all the phones are not directly in front of the camera, so that might make you feel that the brightness level is different, but that's just because of the angle and lighting. Now as always, there were no application on the device apart from the ones I will use in the test. All the devices were connected to the same Wi-Fi network and no apps were running in the background. With all that info out of the way, let's begin. Let's start with Antutu benchmarks to check the scores. I had to restart the test on Max Pro M2 because it got stuck in between. Anyways, approx 11 minutes later, you can see the scores of all the phones. Redmi Note 7 scores highest among the 4 and M20 had the lowest scores. I ran the test 2 more times and you can see the scores of third time, which got over at 29 minutes and 25 seconds. It's time to check the battery of all the phones. So the battery is at 93% on both Redmi Note 7 and Realme 3, whereas it is 98% on M20 and 95% on Max Pro M2. Now it's time to run Geekbench 4 to check the single core and multi-core scores. At 35 minutes, scores are here and you can see the M20 is just way behind all the other phones. Anyways, we will repeat the test 2 more times and then we will check the battery drop. So finally, after running the test 3 times, let's check the battery drop. At 47 minutes, battery on the Redmi Note 7 and Realme 3 is at 90%, whereas it is 96% on the Samsung Galaxy M20 and 92% on the Max Pro M2. Now it's time to run PUBG for 2 hours and 15 minutes, since this game is played by most of us for a couple of hours daily. I'm keeping graphics settings as HD high on all the phones, as you can see. At 2 hours, let's check the battery drop. So the battery is at 70% on the Redmi Note 7, 71% on the Realme 3, M20 is at 82% and Max Pro M2 is at 75%. Finally, at 3 hours, let's check how much battery has dropped. After 2+ hours of PUBG, Redmi Note 7 is at 51%, Realme 3 is at 56%, M20 is at 70% and Max Pro M2 is at 60%. It's time to move on to another popular app used by a lot of people, which is YouTube. Let me play my reviews playlist from YouTube for 2 hours. Guys, if you noticed, M20 and Max Pro M2, both of them don't cover the notch area, so I hope both companies will fix it soon. At 4 hours, let's check how much battery has dropped after 1 hour of YouTube. So the battery on the Redmi Note 7 is at 42%, which is 9% drop in an hour. Realme 3 is at 49%, which is 7% drop. M20 is at 62% from 70% and Max Pro M2 is at 51% from 60%. Do note that maximum resolution on Realme was only 720p. At 5 hours, it's time to close the YouTube application on all the devices and check the battery drop. So the battery on the Redmi Note 7 is the least at 32%. If you notice, Redmi Note 7 and Realme 3 were close enough, but now both of them have a big difference, and the reason is resolution of the display on the Realme 3. Anyways, Realme 3 is at 42% now, M20 is still having 53% battery left, which is nuts, and Max Pro M2 has got 42% battery. Time to open the camera application now and record videos for 1 hour, because we Indians do love clicking pictures and shooting videos. So let's see what happens with 1 hour of video recording. We are 6 hours into the test and it's time to close the camera application and check the battery drop. So the battery is now at 18% on the Redmi Note 7, 29% on the Realme 3, 42% on the M20 and 22% on the Max Pro M2. Time to move on to Instagram application and play videos on it, since this is one of the most popular social media applications. If you don't follow me over there, then do check out my handle AllAboutTechnologies on Instagram and make sure to follow me over there. At 7 hours and 2 minutes, it's time to close the Instagram application and let's see the battery drop. So the battery is at 6% on the Redmi Note 7, 21% on the Realme 3, 32% on the M20 and 10% on the Max Pro M2. There is a big difference between the M2 and the M20, whereas the difference between the Realme 3 and M20 has reduced now. Strange, I know. Anyways, now I will run Asphalt 8 on all the phones till all the devices give up. At 7 hours and 15 minutes, Redmi Note 7 was the first one to give up, whereas Realme 3, M20 and M2 has got 19%, 29% and 6% battery left respectively. At 7 hours and 40 minutes, Max Pro M2 gave up even before the Realme 3, which has got 4230 mAh battery, which is mainly because the Realme 3 has got a 720p display. What do you think are the other reasons apart from the 720p display? Let me know that in the comment section. At 8 hours and 56 minutes, I decided to close the Asphalt 8 application and run PUBG Mobile. At this time, the battery was at 1% on the Realme 3, whereas 8% on the Samsung Galaxy M20. Anyways, at 9 hours, finally Realme 3 gave up, but M20 still had 7% battery left, which is insane. And as I mentioned earlier in my videos, M20 is one of the best devices when it comes to battery life. Guys, I stopped the test right after this because I was completely exhausted, as I started the test at 12 AM in the night and it was morning 9 AM. I had no energy to wait for another 30 minutes to get the M20 battery drained out completely. So if you appreciate my efforts, then do hit the like button, as it would mean a lot. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the results were completely different and Realme 3 lasted for a good time because it has got a 720p display compared to 1080p on all the phones. Now, I personally would go with 1080p display any day, but if you don't mind 720p display, then you can go ahead with Realme 3. In fact, you can go ahead with any of the phones from the list because all of them have a good battery life. Now, Redmi Note 7 has got less battery life compared to others, but it supports Quick Charge 4.0, which should help in fast charging, so that's nice. So which device you would pick out of these 4 devices? Let me know that in the comment section. If you are interested in buying any of the devices, links will be there in the description box. If you've still not liked the video, then please go ahead and do that. That would just mean a lot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, click that bell icon to get notified about such amazing videos. And make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be there in the description box, as well as you can see it right now on the screen. That's it guys, this is Saurabh Nahar. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.